To my selfless Spartans, welcome back. To my good people, join us. A story about good versus evil. Who is Rudolf Diesel? Rudolf Diesel first designed the engine named after him to run on vegetable oil. With some minor chemical tweaks, used cooking oil, or UCO, can be blended seamlessly into the fuel that comes out of a gas pump. Do you know what happened to Mr. Diesel? He was murdered. Nipsey Hussle, may they both rest in peace. Nipsey Hussle didn't like the fact that his own people were killing each other due to grand design. And so he called a ceasefire where gang members no longer were killing each other and they came together to go into business and provide jobs in low income neighborhoods. Do you know what happened to Mr. Diesel? Murdered. He got so strong that the government feared him, and so they had one of his own murder him. Are you aware that sugar is one of the leading causes to cancer, and yet somehow it's in the food pyramid? Do you want to know why? Well, sugar is a $1 billion industry. Do you think for 1 second these demons on top who are chasing money, the root of all evil, are going to hurt their pockets, allowing you to know that the sugar they're selling you is killing you and your family? I think not. Are you aware that in Europe, medical is free? If you get sick, you can go to the doctor and have no worry. Well, unfortunately, in America, medical is not free. Myself, I haven't had medical insurance in 23 years. I went to the ER with extensive rectal bleeding, and the nurse laughed at me and told me that she would not see it possible that an emergency colonoscopy be performed. I was standing there in tears, bleeding out of my rectum, and she had zero sympathy nor care and told me that I would not be receiving this emergency procedure, that I have to walk myself out. But guess what? Through experimenting on myself and through God's grace, I healed that myself. You are what you eat. A step further, who is Dr. Sebi? Dr. Sebi is an amazing man who cured cancer with natural elements that God provided: fruits, vegetables, and a clean diet. That man cured cancer. Do you know what happened to Dr. Sebi? Murdered. Now let's flip it. Let's go to the evil side. Are you familiar with Epstein Island? Epstein Island is an island that Jeffrey Epstein owned, that he was trafficking children to, so that the elites that you all look up to and want to know who's dating were going to have sexual relations with children and underage women who were being trafficked. They got caught. Epstein went to jail. A flight list of who was going to the island came out. And mysteriously, the world got shut down by the global plan. There was even royalty on that list. Mr. Epstein was filthy rich. You would think that he would have just gotten a lawyer and gotten himself right out of there. No. You know what he did? Suicide. Good versus evil. Now, I'm making you aware because you are my friends and my family and my Spartan brothers. So we will be aware and we will train. Now, let's talk about my hero, Jesus. Do you know who this is? This piece of trash? Sitting with Jesus at the Last Supper amongst his closest people, the disciples? That piece of shit is Judas. And he literally sat at the table and ate with Jesus while plotting his death. You see, often it comes from the inside. And those who are closest to you, who envy, which is a sin, will do nothing but plot on your downfall. Are you with me? Let's see what happens when you do good deeds at a high level. Okay? For it is written, John 11:28. Jesus weeps. When she said this, she went and called her sister Mary, saying quietly, "The teacher is here and is calling for you." And when she heard it, she rose quickly and went to him. Now Jesus had not yet come to the village, but was still in the place where Martha had met him. When the Jews who were with her in the house, consoling her, saw Mary rise quickly and go out, they followed her, supposing that she was going to the tomb to weep there. Then Mary, when she came where Jesus was and saw him, fell at his feet, saying to him, "Lord, if you had been here, my brother would not have died." When Jesus saw her weeping, and the Jews who came with her also weeping, he was deeply moved in spirit and troubled. And he said, "Where have you laid him?" They said to him, "Lord, come and see." Jesus wept. So the Jews said, "See how he loved him?" But some of them said, "Could not he who opened the eyes of the blind man have kept this man from dying?" Jesus raises Lazarus to life. Then Jesus, deeply moved, again came to the tomb. It was a cave, and a stone lay upon it. Jesus said, "Take away the stone." Martha, the sister of the dead man, said to him, "Lord, by this time there will be an odor, for he has been dead for 4 days." Jesus said to her, "Did I not tell you that if you would believe, you would see the glory of God? So they took away the stone. And Jesus lifted up his eyes and said, Father, I thank thee that thou hast heard me. I knew that thou hearest me always, but I have said this on account of the people standing by, that they may believe that thou didst said this, that thou didst send me. When he had said this, he cried with a loud voice, Lazarus, come out. The dead man came out, his hands, feet bound with bandages, and his face wrapped with a cloth. Jesus said to them, unbind him and let him go. The plot to kill Jesus. Many of the Jews, therefore, who had come with Mary and had seen what he did, believed in him. But some of them went to the Pharisees and told them what Jesus had done. So the chief priests and the Pharisees gathered. The counselors said, what are we to do? For this man performs many signs. If we let go of them, if we let him go on thus, everyone will believe in him, and the Romans will come and destroy both our holy place and our nation. But one of them, Caiaphas, who was the high priest that year, said to them, you know nothing at all. You do not understand that it is expedient for you that one man should die for the people, and that the whole nation should not perish. He did not say this of his own accord, but being high priest that year, he prophesied that Jesus should die for the nation. And not for the nation only, but to gather into one the children of God who are scattered abroad. So from that day on, they took counsel how to put him to death. Jesus therefore no longer went about openly among the Jews, but went from there to the country near the wilderness, to a town called Ephraim, and there he stayed with the disciples. Now the Passover of the Jews was at hand, and many went up from the country to Jerusalem before the Passover to purify themselves. They were looking for Jesus and saying to one another as they stood in the temple, what do you think? That he will not come to the feast? Now the chief priests and the Pharisees had given orders that if anyone knew where he was, he should let them know so that they may arrest him. Amen. Jesus gives sight to a blind beggar. The blind beggar then rises and can see. Jesus brings Lazarus back from the dead. The Jews consider this blasphemy and order his arrest and death. Okay? Fear not. I do not tell you these things to put you in fear of doing good. I tell you these things for if we are all good, there will be no more evil. So we must all be good. I ask you this. What have you devoted your life to? The root of all evil is money. So I hope that's not it. I devoted my life to Jesus, God, my queen, and you all. When I met my queen and I knew she was the one, it was love at first sight. I told her to stop working that I will support her and I will give her everything she needs. Because my queen has the natural ability to love me and give us a legacy of God-fearing people. So I work my ass off every single day of my life. And I now own 10 bedrooms. In my 30s, I accomplished that. I was a homeless man, and I am a convict. And I have changed my life to follow God and do right. What is it that you have dedicated your life to? Are you aware of the story of Noah? Are you aware that Jesus is no longer in the school system? Are you aware that Jesus is no longer in the court system? Are you aware that they have even taken Christ out of Christmas? The world has been ugly before. And you know what was done? God rinsed the entire earth of all of the trash and misguided people and allowed his chosen one, Noah, to take his people and his animals and start over. There is proof that Jesus existed. There is proof that Noah's Ark existed. They actually found where it was located. So I ask you this. Why should Jesus save you? To my selfless Spartans, train. And to my good people, I thank you.